The Case of Genie, Wiley. In early 1970s, a mysterious young girl was discovered in Los Angeles. She couldn't speak, walked strangely, and feared human contact. Her name was Genie Wiley, and her story became one of the most shocking cases of child abuse and isolation in history. Genie was born in 1957. For reasons still unclear, her father believed she had a mental disability. At just 20 months old, she was locked inside a small dark room, isolated from the outside world. For nearly 13 years, Genie was strapped to a potty chair during the day and tied inside a sleeping bag in a cage like a crib at night. She was forbidden to speak. If she made any sound, she was beaten. She grew up without love, language, or human touch. She never knew how to talk, or even how to eat properly. In November, Genie was finally discovered when her mother escaped from her abusive husband and accidentally found her way to a social service office. Authorities were shocked by what they saw. Genie weighed only 59 pounds at age 13 and had the language ability of a toddler. Genie's case became a scientific sensation. Researchers wondered, could a child learn language after missing the critical period of early childhood? Was brain development still possible after extreme isolation? Genie showed incredible progress at first. She began learning words and expressing emotions, but soon, researchers and caregivers fought over control of her life, turning Genie into a research subject rather than a child in need. After the research funding ended, Genie was abandoned by the scientific community. She was moved between foster homes where she faced new abuse and neglect. Her progress began to disappear. Where is Genie now? Today, Genie's location is kept secret. Reports say she lives in a private adult care facility in California, still unable to fully speak or live independently. Genie Wiley's story raises painful questions. How much does human connection shape who we are? And how could society fail a child not once, but twice? Her life reminds us that every human being needs love, communication, and compassion to truly become human. So here's I'm gonna explain to you about 4 points from the case Genie Wiley. First, what message or lesson about education did you learn? From Genie Wiley's case, I learned that education is not only about school, but also about interaction, communication, and love. Genie never had the chance to experience normal education because she was isolated from the world. Her story shows that early childhood education begins at home, through talking, playing, and emotional care. Without stimulation and human contact, even the most basic learning becomes impossible. It taught me that education is deeply connected to our environment and emotional support. Second point, how does the story show social class and inequality? The story also reflects social inequality. Genie's case shows how power and control inside a family can destroy a child's future. Her father had total authority and isolated her from society. When Genie was finally rescued, she was studied by scientists and psychologists. But again, she was treated more like an experiment than a person. This situation shows inequality between adults and children, and even between scientists and their subjects. It reminds us that sometimes people from lower or powerless positions do not receive the care and respect they deserve. Third point. What does it say about nature and nurture? Genie's story is one of the most famous examples in the debate of nature versus nurture. It shows that both biology and environment are important, but nurture, the environment, plays a huge role in human development. Genie was born healthy, but because she was deprived of social and linguistic interaction, her mental and emotional growth stopped. This proves that even if we are born with potential, we still need human connection and education to develop that potential. And for the last point, how do you personally relate to the story, character, and message? Personally, I relate to Genie's story because it makes me realize how lucky I am to have access to education, friends, and a loving family. It reminds me to be more grateful and to appreciate the small interactions we have every day. I also feel that this case motivates me to study more about psychology, sociology, and education, so that I can help others who might experience neglect or isolation. Most importantly, it inspires me to treat every person with empathy. Because behind every behavior, there is always a story. And conclusion. In conclusion, the case of Genie Wiley teaches us that education is more than just a story. It's about connection, compassion, and communication. It shows how environment shapes who we become and how inequality can harm human potential. Genie's story is a tragedy, but it also gives us an important message. Human contact and kindness are the true foundations of learning. Thank you for listening. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.